2, 3, 4.
Hi everyone, welcome back to episode 2 of the Truly Myrtle podcast. Thank you so much for coming back. I'm really pleased that you've come to join me again. I can't believe how many of you watched episode 1. It's truly thrilling. I'm quite amazed that you stuck with me through that, but I'm back for more, and I just wanted to say a huge thank you to everyone who sent me messages, emails, left comments, mentioned me on their podcasts or their blogs or Instagram. I'm really touched. I'm really thrilled. You made me really happy. So thank you so much, and welcome back. And I hope that you enjoy this one just as much. I'm having a bit of trouble with knowing quite what to record on. Mr. Myrtle kindly hooked up the video camera for me. I used my real camera last time, but it has a function that cuts off after 15 minutes, and I don't seem to be able to override that. So he got out the old video camera, but the sound quality is really poor on that camera, and the lighting was really odd. So I've given up on that. I've tried. Then I got out the laptop, and I thought I'd do it on that, but the sound and the video wouldn't sync. So here I am on the iPod looking at the little dot, which is kind of awkward, so I'll have to loosen up. I'm feeling a bit stiff, so we better get started and see how we go. I've said I'm Truly Myrtle. You can find me as Truly Myrtle almost everywhere. I'm Truly Myrtle on Ravelry, on Facebook and Pinterest and Twitter. Although I don't really go to Pinterest and Twitter all that much. I should try a bit harder, I think, but it's just a time thing. So I spend most of my time Ravelry and Instagram. I love Instagram, and on Instagram I am Truly Myrtle Photos. So come and say hi if you haven't already. I just post pictures every day of things I'm up to and what I'm doing. So we'll roll into it. What have I been doing this month? I showed you all my whips, all my things that I hadn't finished last month, and lots of you had some really useful suggestions. Thank you so much for all the suggestions I had about the rag rugs. That they were great, and I haven't done anything about it yet, and I just got a message this morning from someone telling me, stop, don't wash it, it's the worst thing you could do. So I'm going to investigate that a little bit more before I start. My mum has fished out one of the hook things which she had lying about in her stash, so I will get to them. I have 2 now. One doesn't have as many problems. Mum gave me the other one as well, so I will get to them, and I'll show you when I do, but I haven't had a chance to yet. So what have I been doing? I've done a bit of sewing. I can't believe I've actually done some sewing. Trying to do sewing on a Friday has actually worked quite well for me. So last Friday was a public holiday, and which meant that I had the whole day without having to race off to school, race back to school, do pickups, drop-offs, all those kind of things. And Mr. Myrtle was home, so he actually made the lunch and made the dinner, which gave me a bit of freedom. So what did I sew? I've made a couple of tops. I made this top that I'm wearing. I'll show you. It's a little tank, you see. It's a little tank top, and it's from the Grainline Studios tiny pocket tank top. I don't have a pocket. I didn't make the pocket, so I made this out of fabric that my mum had in her stash for a very long time, because I apparently chose it when I was probably about 3 or 4, so that's going back some decades now. And I've always had a fancy for it. She never made it into a dress for me, so I finally made it into something for myself. So I'm actually really pleased with this one. It's worked out quite well. I did quite a few adjustments to the pattern. I tend to need things to shape in a bit, to give me a bit of shape. So I gave it a bit more waist shaping. I lifted it slightly in the shoulders, and I took this was my wearable muslin, so I've adjusted this one a lot. I took a huge chunk out of the back. It's actually got a seam in the back, because once I'd cut it out, I realised it was way too gapey in the back. So I just took a huge seam out of the back, so it has actually got a seam in the back now. But then I tried to adjust the pattern. I think I shortened it as well a little bit. So then I tried to adjust the pattern, and I cut out a second one with some Liberty print, which I've had lying around for a while now. I picked it up on eBay a couple of years ago in the UK, and it's an old Liberty print. It's so pretty. I really like it, and I wasn't sure that I wanted it for a whole dress. It just seemed too much for a whole dress, but as a little top it's really good. So I made the other adjustments on this. I think it's actually turned out slightly bigger than this one, although that could be that the fabrics with different weights, because this is obviously quite a light Tana lawn, and this one is not a quilting cotton. It's not as heavy as that. It's a dressmaking cotton, so it has some structure to it, so it sits. But anyway, they're both lovely. I like them both. I tried to adjust the bust darts on this one. I wasn't that successful, and I might unpick them and have another little fiddle with them, but it's wearable, but it could be better. So after listening to quite a lot of people on Instagram talk about tank tops, some people suggested I try the Wilkeston tank, which I have known about for a long time, and I might do that. It doesn't have any darts. It has a wider in the shoulders and a higher neck, and I wasn't sure if that would suit me as well, or if I would like it as much, which is why I went for the grain line one, because it was narrower through the straps. It had the darts, which I thought would give me a bit more shaping, and it had a lower neckline, which I think works better for me. And it's hot here. I in no way want to wear anything that's bigger. It's really quite warm, even though today it's cloudy. It's quite muggy, so that's why my hair goes a bit frizzy in this muggy weather. It's crazy hair. But anyway, so I chose the grain line. What I might do is have a bash at drafting a tank top to fit me, and a couple of people have suggested a craftsy class that's quite good on fit and getting your fit right. So I know quite a lot about getting fit right for knitwear now, but I haven't really investigated it too much. I did start to try to a while ago, but I haven't done much sewing lately, so I need to go back and actually have a rethink about how I'm going to do that. But this one and this one, new additions to my wardrobe, yes, and I'm wearing something made, even though it's not what I said I would make. So actually I'll show you that next. So what I said I would make to wear today was a dress from the Alabama Channon book, Natalie Channon's book. And it was a stretch knit, hand sewn, cotton knit dress. I've said that twice, never mind. Initially, my plan was to dye the fabric with black beans. I'd seen some beautiful black bean dyeing, and I thought I'd like to try that. So I got some black beans and I soaked them, and I added some alum, and I let my fabric dip into it, to soak in it, and it went pink. It went flesh pink. It didn't actually go blue. So people suggested, I showed people on Instagram my pink fabric and Facebook, and people suggested that maybe it was the pH of my water. So I added a bit of baking soda, which did adjust it slightly. I can't quite remember now which way, because oh, that's right. No, first I added vinegar. I added the vinegar, which made it pinker. Oh, the wrong thing. So then I added baking soda. Forgot I'd added the vinegar, and then I had like a volcano in my pot. That was crazy. So it didn't work. It just stayed pink. So we have really soft water. Because we're in the country, we have a bore. We don't have rainwater tanks. We're lucky we have a bore that goes straight into the ground. It's a very deep bore, and the water is incredibly soft, so that you actually, when you wash your hair, you just use the most minuscule piece of shampoo. You just need little pieces of soap, because you just spent ages trying to wash the soap suds off your hands. It's hopeless. I mean, it's lovely, but it's hopeless. So I think my pH levels of I didn't test it. I should probably test it, but I didn't test it. But obviously my pH levels were just a little bit awry, and I couldn't make the black beans go blue. So when I bought the alum, which was a nightmare to find in New Zealand, but I finally found some. You can't just go into the supermarket and buy alum. I had to order it from a craft place at the other end of New Zealand, so they posted it to me. But when I bought it, I also bought some indigo powder. So I thought, oh, I'd love to try indigo powder. So I gave it a bash. But I'm like, this is the darkest I seem to be not doing very well with natural dyeing or something. So I tried this I gave it quite a lot of dips, and I thought I used a reasonable amount of indigo, but maybe I used too much water. Maybe I stirred it too much. Someone suggested maybe I needed to just leave it alone, just dissolve the indigo, or let the indigo go into the water, dip it, lift it, let it oxidize, dip it, lift it. I had a conversation yesterday with Gradient, Bryony from Gradient Dyeing in Australia, and she had just done some beautiful indigo dyeing and some on cotton, because I wondered if maybe it was the cotton that wasn't taking the colour. But no, she has a beautiful dark, really rich indigo blue. So she said, just wait till it stops looking green before you take it out, and then dip it again. Don't let it dry in between. Oxidize by taking it out, because apparently it starts reacting when it hits the air. Dip it and try it again. So I can't really wear this colour. It's a bit grey blue for me. It's a bit drab for me. It's pretty enough. I can see it would suit some people, but it's not going to work for me. So I think I'm going to try again. I might have to get a little bit more indigo. I don't know if I've got enough left, but I'm going to try again dyeing this. So we'll just stay tuned. We'll see what happens with my rather failed attempts at dyeing my fabric for my dress. So I haven't made that yet. What I have made in the meantime, I haven't finished it, but what I have made in the meantime is a little top from the same book, and it uses the same techniques. So it's actually got the same top pattern. For the dress, you just extend it down. Can you see that? So the dress, you just extend it down to the end. So this is a tank top with a surprisingly good fit. I was amazed actually how good the fit is. I just need to knit the seams in slightly under the arms, because I wobbled when I was hand stitching, and when I tried it on I could see it was just ever so slightly gapey. But you cut 4 pieces, 2 front pieces, 2 back pieces, and I keep forgetting which is the front and which is the back. I need to put a label in it. I think that's the front. I can't remember. I need to go back to the pattern every time and look which is the front, which is the back. Anyway, it's top stitched. Can you see that? It's top stitched, which I really like. It's called felling your seam. So you hand stitch your seam down there with a cotton doubled over. So you hand stitch on both sides, and then you fold it over and you stitch it inside. Now, Natalie Channon has some fabulous tips for hand stitching in that book. So one of the things she tells you is about knotting your fabric, and she shows you a little knot that you pull your cotton through. Or first of all, let me start at the beginning. First of all, when you thread your thread into your needle, she said use the needle rather than the thread to go through, which means that rather than aiming for the hole, when I'm getting more and more blind, I can't see the hole half the time anymore. Rather than aiming for the hole, you actually aim the hole for the thread. And that does actually work better. I was quite surprised. So I tried that. Then you fold your thread over and you love your thread, which means you just run your fingers up and down. I think I lick my fingers quite a bit. And anyway, you rub your fingers up and down. I have heard that you can wax your thread as well with a bit of beeswax, and I think you rub it on a bit of beeswax and wax it, but I didn't do that. But I loved my thread, and you just get the 2 threads. It's sort of like plying them in a way, but it's at least letting them lie together so they work together. You don't knot it, you pull it through, you do the little knotting technique. It's a bit like a French knot, but it doesn't have all the twiddles at the top. And you pull it through, and then you stitch your way through. And she said to leave a tail. Leave a reasonable tail, because then you've got less chance of it losing the end of the knot afterwards. For the top stitching, she recommended going around the end of the seam. So I don't know if you can see how I've done it there. Look, I'm taking it to the wrong place because I'm going to the hole. It's hopeless in the camera. Anyway, there it is there. So you go around the end of the seam. Actually, I should show you there. That's kind of more like it. Anyway, you go around the edge of the seam to catch it in, and then you stitch up. And that seemed to work quite well. That was quite nice. So I'm getting there. I am getting there. I'm quite looking forward to wearing this. I think it'll stay warm for a bit longer. It's cooled off a bit, but it should come back. all I have to do now is finish just doing my little stitching up under my arms, and then I just cut some bias, some fabric just on the other way around, not on the cross, but this is going with the grain. I cut some against the grain, some strips, and I stitch them around the arm. I fold them over and stitch them around the armhole. Raw edges are fine, you just keep the raw edges, it won't fray. So you fold them around, and then I do a herringbone type stitch around the armholes and around the neck. And then I'm undecided what to do about the bottom, because it's quite rolly, which I don't mind, except that the edges have got these threads that hang down. So I could cut them off, but I might try and just give it a little hem. I just wonder if it would suit me a bit better. So I'll play around with that, but I haven't got too much more to go with that. I'm just picking it up and putting it down in between knitting, which I actually am nearly finished my knitting. I will show you what I'm doing with my knitting. This is my pomme de pin cardigan that I started. Remember, I was doing the knit along on Instagram, the pomme de pin Kal, K-A-L, and everyone who had pomme de pin, do you know some people actually started some new ones? I'm very impressed, because they are racing through those new ones as well. So I'm almost finished. It took me ages and ages and ages to do the sleeves. It was a killer, absolute killer, these sleeves. They just seem to go on forever. So I've done the sleeves, finally. Do you know what helped? I put something on my blog and just said, this is mental, I can't do the sleeves. Oh, I keep putting them down, picking them up, they're taking forever. And lots of people gave me some ideas and suggestions about what I should do. So what did I do? Because it worked, what they suggested worked. The first thing was step away from the knitting. So I did, I stepped away from the knitting and I spent the day sewing my tops. And then when I came back to the knitting, I was just thrilled to be back knitting. So that was really helpful. I also, what else did I do? Someone suggested rewarding myself with chocolate every 20 rows, and I would have actually done that, but I didn't have any chocolate. That was quite a good suggestion. I know what I did. I listened to podcasts and I watched podcasts, and I just had a clear afternoon. I think everyone was playing. Some of the kids were out. It was a weekend and I had a clear afternoon, and I just turned on some podcasts, listened to some podcasts and watched some podcasts, and just knitted and knitted and knitted. And you know, before I knew it, they were done. They were absolutely done. I couldn't believe it. So then I sat up and sewed them in, which was actually more pleasant than I was expecting. And then I picked up the stitches around the band, which I don't mind doing. I quite like picking up stitches around the band because you can get such a neat edge so easily with that. Look, can you see my lovely neat, look how everything goes blue. I'm getting quite a blue. It's not blue, this yarn, it's quite browny grey, so we'll see if the colour comes right. Anyway, pick up, you get quite a neat edge when you do it along the same line of stitching. So I picked up 3 out of every 4 stitches, which I thought would probably be okay, because I had to pick up something like 305 stitches, and I wasn't going to keep counting all the way round, so I noticed that it had to be an odd number of stitches. I figured if I picked about 3 out of every 4, it would be okay. I ended up picking up too many. It's quite likely, actually, that I added a bit of length to the body and my collar might have been a bit longer, so I wasn't too bothered. It was still within the realms of stitch numbers for the pattern itself, so I just stuck with that, and it didn't look pouchy. But what I have done is adjusted the buttonholes, partly because my stitch numbers were a little bit different, and partly because I absolutely could not understand how the buttonholes worked. I tried a couple of times following the instructions and doing the buttonholes, but it was just a mystery to me. I understood how they were meant to work, but I just couldn't make it work. So instead, I got my big book, the big book, Principles of Knitting, because I remembered that there was a buttonhole in here which I wanted to try, and it's called the Improved Horizontal Buttonhole, I think, in the book. It's not the original horizontal buttonhole, it's the improved one, and it is actually a nice buttonhole. So let's see if I can find one that looks reasonably, they all look alright actually, but this one is, I haven't quite, can you see my improved horizontal buttonhole? Now I was supposed to do it over 3 stitches But actually, once I did it over 3, I realised it was a bit small, so I've done it over 4 stitches instead. And instead of doing 19 stitches between each one, I think I've done 21 stitches between each one. I wanted them to start on a plain stitch rather than a purl stitch, because that worked better when I was trying to manoeuvre my buttonhole, and it spread them out just ever so slightly up the band, which accounted for my extra stitches. So I've got 4 buttonholes. Every time I did it, I had to reread the instructions. It's not tricky, but I just reread them so that I got it right. And so it's a matter of casting off some stitches, going back, knitting into a purl nub, yarn overs, pulling them over. There are quite a few steps. There's like 4 or 5 steps to make a buttonhole, but it makes a good one. So if you've got that book, or if it's in your library, you should have a look and see, because it does make a nice neat buttonhole, the improved horizontal buttonhole. I'm pretty sure that's what it is called. I'll do some show notes this time. I'll just put some links up for some things that I've mentioned, and that way you can go and have a little look and see what you want to find from the stuff I've mentioned. I still have to do about another 4 rows, I think. Did about 2 more last night. Did the buttonholes last night, and then I need to do about another 4 rows, and then I cast it off and weave in my ends, and I am done. I have no buttons yet, so I have to choose some buttons, but the fit is great. I'm going to love this cardigan. It's really good. I'm really pleased with it. So yay, it's nearly done. I can't believe it. And if you're doing the Pomme de Pin cowl on Instagram, keep going. It is worth it. It's a lovely cardigan, and keep posting your pictures and linking with the hashtag so I can come back and see how you're getting on, because there's a couple there that I think are totally lovely. So I'd love to see them finished, so please keep going. That'll be great. I'm hoping that I'll be done in another day or 2, but then I'll block it and then I'll put the buttons on. So I'll show you probably on the blog or on Instagram. I'll post a picture and show you it all finished. Speaking of finished, I finished and I released my little hat pattern. So I did a little blog post about it and told you about it. It's always hard to put on hats when you're on screen, but there it is. See, it's got a little cable up the front with some moss stitch background. I love the block stitch that the rest of the hat is on, and it just flops. It's just got a little flop. I love this little flop in this hat. It's my perfect size because it's not too slouchy. It's got a little bit of slouch. It's got a slight beret shape, and I just think it's quite a good little shape. You can just chuck it on, but it's hot. And yeah, I do love wearing hats. I had to actually train myself to wear hats. In fact, I had to train myself to wear accessories in general. I don't know, quite a few years ago, I decided that I liked it when everyone else did. I felt like a Christmas tree if I wore them myself, and that was just ridiculous. So one day I just decided, that is it. I am going to wear accessories. So I started, and I remember going to a picnic in a park in England, in Cambridge, and it was summery, but you know, English summer, some of those days don't get all so hot, but I wore a cottonish, like a long cotton scarf. It was, I think it was cotton knit, and it had a bit of sort of broide anglaise, or lace on the bottoms. Anyway, I had a tank top and a skirt, and I wore the scarf around my neck, doubled over and coming down at the front, and jewellery. And I just sat at the picnic thinking, I just felt like I had a big sign, I am wearing a scarf, I am wearing a scarf, like that. And I kept thinking, no, don't do this, just wear the scarf. I was so self-conscious of the scarf. And then by the end of the day, I just forgot about the scarf. I felt fine in the scarf. So that was my turning point. There's not often that you can pinpoint a moment in your life, but that was the turning point. And after that, I just had a pile of scarves by the back door, and I'd throw on my scarves, and I started wearing more jewellery, more necklaces. I then broached the dangly earring subject, which had always crippled me before that. I just couldn't do it, but I do it now. I do it all the time. And you know, I love accessorising now. If I don't throw on a necklace or bangles or earrings or a scarf or a hat in the winter, I don't feel like I'm properly dressed. It's great. It's great. I really enjoy it. It makes all my knitting all that much more fun because I'm wearing it. So now I'm all shawls and hats, and it's cool. So if you don't accessorize, just go for it. I'd say just go for it. It's it's worth it. It's good. So anyway, here's my hat. It's all released. It's available. It's called Reminisce, and I'm really pleased with it. I knitted this one with a Skein Queen yarn, which is a beautiful yarn. I adore Skein Queen's dyeing. She's a British dyer. If you haven't tried her wool, you really should. It is lovely. And but unfortunately, this particular wool, which is a silk alpaca merino, has been discontinued, this base. So it came out of my stash. So I spoke to her, and she suggested another one that you could replace it with. But one of my testers used a beautiful squishy merino from a local New Zealand dyer called Little Red. Yeah, Red Riding Hood. I have to link. I'll link to her. She's very popular, and I've totally forgotten the actual name, but it's Little Red Riding Hood, Little Red. And that was beautiful as well. Absolutely beautiful. A bit of a different look, a slightly more structured hat. But I decided I'd write a blog post about it. Just about using different yarns. So I just talked you through just some different ideas about how to substitute yarn, what I think about when I'm substituting yarn, the yarn characteristics, and how you know to get enough and get engaged and things like that. So if you're interested, go and have a little look. I can link to it on the bottom of the podcast here, and you can go and have a look. But there we go, Reminisce hat. Isn't it cute? I love it. I'm quite looking forward to it getting cold so I can actually wear it now outside. Speaking of wool, I bought a new skein of wool the other day. Now, a new friend of mine in New Zealand has just started dyeing wool. And her colour sense is beautiful. It's really lovely. Her name is Andy, and she has started a little company called Midnight Yarns. Can you see that? So Andy comes to my knitting group as well. We have a little knitting group that meets on a Tuesday night every second week. And I said to Andy, bring some of your wool, because I knew she'd been dyeing over the holidays, over the Christmas break. So she brought along a little pile of wool, and she laid it out on the table, and I had to buy some because it was so lovely. So I bought this one, which is a merino. It's a machine wash, 80% merino, 20% nylon. And it's called Ocean Deep. It's 100 grams. It's a slightly heavier fingering because it's got 357 meters. So isn't it pretty? The blues, it's not quite coming out as, the teal isn't quite coming out as much as it is in real life. It's absolutely glorious. I'm going to make a pair of socks out of that. I just love it. Love it. Those colours, aren't they glorious? So I might put a little pattern in the socks. I haven't decided, but it's very pretty. And then Andy really kindly offered me another skein to give away on my blog, on my podcast. So here it is. She's dyed another one up especially for us. Now that is a bit more gold than it is in real life. In real life, it's called Mustard from a Squeeze Bottle. Isn't that a cool name? Mustard from a Squeeze Bottle. And it's the same base, 80% machine wash merino wool and 20% nylon. So it's superwash merino and nylon. And it is in real life, it's looking quite golden daffodil yellow on the screen. But in real life, it's actually got a lot more depth to it. There's a lot of darker orange. Can you see those darker pops of orange? There's more, it's much more depth. It's glorious. I'm quite tempted to keep it, but I won't. I'll give it to you. I'll let one of you win it. So how are you going to win it? Well, how about you leave me a comment underneath this podcast. Actually, you can leave it. Where would be the best place to leave it? I need all the comments. So I think leave me a comment on my blog, because I'll see them all then. That'll be easy peasy for me to see. So leave me a comment under the podcast. I'll embed it on my blog and leave it in the comment section. Hopefully that's not too tricky for you. I'll leave you another place you can leave. You can also leave a comment on the podcast link itself, because some of you I know have subscribed to the channel, so you won't be coming back to my blog to see this. So you can either leave it on the blog or on the podcast on YouTube. underneath in the comments and tell me, because I don't know, tell me what you think you'd make with this golden loveliness. Because it could be socks, perfectly lovely, beautiful socks, and I think they'd be fantastic as socks. But it could also be a shawl. I think with enough, with a loosish gauge, you could have a nice little thing to wrap around your neck. And then you could accessorise, you see. You could start that accessorising. So tell me what you want to make with it. Give me an idea. And then I'll pick a name out of the hat. And they'll win this beautiful skein of Midnight Yarns. Now, if you want to find Andy, I'll put a link to her there, but you can find her on Facebook. And she's also got a little shop, midnightyarns.co.nz. Go find her. She's got some lovely wool in there. So there's that. 2 more things to talk about. I don't know how long I'm going for. Oh, it's half an hour. I won't be long. I'm aiming for half an hour. I'm just going to go slightly over. Right. I'm doing another along. This time it's a sew along. And I quite like these Instagram alongs because you get to see people's pictures quite frequently while they're doing them. And it's handy to click on the tag and then you could go back and see them. So I'm doing an along. I'm going to sew with Jenny from Barmy Knits and I think Mel from Emsky Knits on Instagram, who's also got a podcast, is going to sew too. We're going to sew this skirt and it's by Michelle Patterns. It's available online and it comes with a whole bunch of blog posts that actually walk you through sewing the skirt and give you lots of tips. So it's quite a cute little skirt. I like the top stitching. I like the little pockets. So I'm going to sew mine. So there's Jenny, Mel, me, my lovely friend Gives a Hoots. It's going to join in, Laura. And I can't think who else. I'm sure there are a couple of other people. Julie, were you going to join in as well? I think you might have said you were too. Anyway, there's a few people joining in, so come and find us. The tag which we're using is A-line pocket skirt sew along. That's long, isn't it? It's a long tag, but that's what we're going to use. A-line pocket skirt sew along. Tag your photo. Let's see what you make. I'm going to use this denim. Now, I'm hoping I'm going to use this denim. It's a light denim, light-ish denim. It's not too heavy. And I'm going to use this pretty little fabric as my lining, pocket lining, and inside my skirt. You won't see it on the outside. I don't actually have enough fabric. I've got about a metre, just over a metre, and I think that needs about 1.2 metres. So I haven't actually cut out the pattern yet. So I'm going to cut out the pattern and try and jiggle it around, see if I can make it fit. And if I can't, I'm going to my mum's this afternoon, and I'm going to have a look in her massive stash of fabric and see if she's got something else, because I've looked through mine. I've had a bit of a cull of my fabric lately, and I've looked through mine and there's nothing else I want for this skirt at the moment. So Mum said she might have something. Yay! So I'll go and have a little look. If that one doesn't fit, I might have a look anyway, because I'm sure there's something else. So come and join the sew along. It'll be really fun. Now, the last thing I wanted to talk about was project bags. Because I'm a big fan of project bags. I am a big fan of making project bags, and I have made a lot of project bags. I'm going to show you some of them. There's this one, and I'll link to where I got the pattern from, although I changed the sizes. This has got a square bottom. It's a drawstring bag. I can't open it at the moment. Yes, I can. So a drawstring bag with a square bottom. I put a lime green lining. It's got this double loop closure, which makes it very quick and easy to close. That is a good bag for a medium-sized project, that one. It's quite nice. I've got a box bag. I've got lots of box bags because on my blog I've got a tutorial that walks you through making a box bag. This is a teeny tiny sock knitting box bag. Isn't it cute? It's made out of old wool fabric. It's got some lining in it. It's got a little handle. It does a little tag at one end. I didn't put them at both ends, just the one end for the zip. So I've got box bags, lots of box bags. I've got this bag, which is, I don't know if you know Anna Graham on Noodlehead. She has a pattern for an open, it's a free pattern, and it's called an open wide zipper pouch, I think is the right name. So this is her pattern, which this was my first attempt at it that I did a few years ago, that I made the bottom seam too big, so it was really tapered. Yeah, so it didn't quite work. I made another one which was much better, which I had as a giveaway once. Has a lovely wide neck on it, and I really like the shape of bag. It's great. It holds heaps. I want to make a bigger one of those. I've got this, which is a very pilled little old jumper bag made into one of these Japanese knot bags with some fabric inside, and I put some pockets in it. They're quite cute. That's a good little sock. That's a good sock bag too. It's a good size for socks, that one. And then I have this gorgeous one which I love, which a friend of mine just gave me for my birthday last year, and it's really cool. It's just a simple tote, but isn't the fabric groovy? Hasn't got any bottoms. I've actually made a couple of these since then for gifts for little kids, and on varying sizes. I made different sizes, and one of them I put the big initial A on the front of it for the little boy I was giving it to, and another one I made a little fairy bag for another little girl for birthday presents. They're quite good, quick birthday presents to whip up. So those are the project bags I've got at the moment. But apart from that newest one, a lot of them I've had for ages, and I fancy a few more, and I fancy trying some slightly different ones as well. So I was wondering if you could tell me what your favourite project bags are. What shape are they? Because I'm really curious to know what else. Does anybody like those pyramid bags? Those little triangle ones with the zip on the side of the triangle? Because I'm quite keen to have a go at making those, but I just want to hear, are they good? Do you like those? Do you like using those? I don't think I'll make another box bag, but I might, because actually they're really big size. If you can, on my tutorial, I give some instructions on how to make a particular size, how to make the size you want. So that's quite helpful for me, because I can't remember how to do it now unless I read that tutorial, which is partly why I wrote it. But if I had a nice big one for a sweater size, that would be quite good. I've got a kind of a big-ish one, but I need a bigger one for that. I think I'd like to make another one of those sort of open zipper pouches. But do you know of any other tutorials or patterns or bags that you buy off eBay that I can have a look at? Just give me some ideas. I just would like to revamp my project bag stocks, and I'd love some suggestions on the ones that you love. What do you use most? What bags are useful for what projects do you think? And let me know so that I can go and look up some of your suggestions and have a go at making some more, because I think it would be quite fun to just have some more, and who knows, maybe I'll make one for you. That would be good, wouldn't it? Make one for you. Because we all need project bags. So there we go, that's it. I managed it. We're recorded. Phew, another one, episode 2. Thank you so much if you've stuck to the end. It's cool, and I hope you enjoyed it this time.
2, 3, 4. Is it a scarf or is it half of a sweater? From what I've